Hi there, this is Mr. Heinke. Either myself or Miss Glenn have been telling you sort of how this is going to work, but this is the website we just sent you a link for. This is the new bit. So we're gonna. Last week we learned about normal curves and what sort of special properties they have, and so now we want you to play around with is a simulation that sort of gets at why that's such a good thing to learn about. Because at first glance, a normal curve seems sort of like a special case. Or is it? Anyway, so you are going to go to this link, and the first thing you have to do is press begin. Okay, so you have up here a normal curve. And there's a bunch of stuff here, and there's a bunch of stuff here. Let's try to recognize here. The mean is 16, the median is also 16, which makes sense because that's part of symmetry, is when the mean is equal to the median. And the standard deviation is at 5, and you can see that right here. Now skew and kurtosis is another measurement of skew. We're gonna not pay attention to those. But ultimately, you're going to be playing around with just a couple parameters. And the first thing you're going to be asked to do is change the sample size to 25. And here we have 2 and 5 and 10, and you can read, and here's 25. So watch this. This phrase says the distributions of means. So what's going to happen is we're going to randomly select from this population 25 things. And then here I'll show you, it's pretty neat. So animated, so 1, 2, 3, I'm not going to count to 25. But 25 data points are going to plop down. And then it's going to poop out that little nugget. And that little nugget is the mean. So here's our sample. This is the mean of the sample. And what we're going to be looking at is what this looks at. So I'll do one more, just for funsies. So all those 25 data points, and then the average is right there. Now there's some crazy stuff going on here because we don't really have a lot of data yet. But you're going to read the directions and play around with these buttons right here. Now, so you aren't going to change the mean at all. Eventually you will change the sample size. And eventually you will change the shape. So there's normal, there's uniform, there's skewed, and there's custom. And that's going to come up later. But how you deal with custom is like, hey, look, I'm grabbing this. Oh, yeah. So you just grab it with your clicker and raise it to whatever you want it to be. Okay? And let me go back to normal. And so these buttons, like this animated button is one at a time. The 5 is like, I'm going to do 5 trials at once. Okay? So what I want you to do is, what we want you to do is play around with this and then answer the questions on your classwork, homework, whatever we're branding it. We haven't quite figured that out. But the thing that you also got sent that has questions about this. Okay, and obviously you can ask Miss Glenn or myself questions. I am glad we're trying out school again, and I hope you're all doing well, even if you aren't my student.